Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Orange Chronicles, where I chronicle what has been going over the past week. Hopefully the wind outside is not too bad today. That is actually why this video is late. It was so windy outside the front of my house last night when I normally record these that there was no way that you would hear anything other than the wind just ripping by. So hopefully it has died down a little bit. I have heard it a few times. So if there's some really weird, awkward cuts in here, that is why. But let's go ahead and talk about my reading. And last week I talked up a pretty big game about hopefully finishing one of the two books that I'm currently reading, and I have completely fallen flat on my face. So let's go ahead and start with The Fugitive Prince by Jenny Wirtz. Some huge stuff has happened in this book, and honestly, I'm blown away by some of the things that have happened. This is easily probably going to be the best book in the series for me so far. I don't think there's a way that even with, I'm only at 50, or I'm at 60% of this book now. So even if the last 40% of this book somehow it's like a dumpster fire, which it's not going to be. I can't imagine a Jenny Wirtz book being like that. This is easily going to be my favorite in the series, and it is kind of fast tracking its way really high up my rankings. So it has been great. And then let's quickly switch over to the other book, House of Chains, because this is the one where I have more to say. So book one of House of Chains by Stephen Erickson, I had a great time with. I really enjoyed being along with Karsa and that story that was being told and things that were going on and being experienced there. I really enjoyed that. And then if you are a Malazan fan, you know the books themselves are split up into books. And book two, which is I'm about 50% of the way through this. I'm almost done with book two of the subset in the book. Book two has just been not a good time for me. I have not really enjoyed it at all. It's so much to me, it's so much just random stuff that is important, but I just don't care about any of it. And that is it's a rough thing to say because I feel like I've had the same experience in a couple of these books at this point where there will be sections of it where I'm just like, this is brilliant. And then we get to sections of it where I'm like, this is so boring. I don't care whatsoever about anything that's going on, really. I don't care about any of these characters for the most part. I don't care about anything. I'm not attached to anything. And that has been my experience with book two. So like if I had to give ratings to each one, book one would be like a B plus, A minus, and book two's like, it's not bad. And that's what I always come back to. It's not that it's bad, it's just I don't care. I'm apathetic towards it, which might be worse. And so I might give like book two like a C minus. And so like if you average that together, it's still like I like the book. I still think it's good. I'm going to finish it and probably continue the series. But it's just I've never had a reading experience where so many of these books, there are these peaks where I'm just like, oh, this is great. This is absolutely awesome, and then had these valleys where I just don't care. And I talked a little bit about this where I am doing this on audio, and I know there are probably already people right now in the comments telling me I'm dumb for trying to do Malazan on audio. But to just be real with everybody, if I didn't try to do this on audio, I just probably wouldn't ever read it because I just physical reading. Part of the reason why Fugitive Prince has taken me as long as it is I just don't have that built into my life, into my schedule to sit down and just physically read. It's just not something that I have like set up. And I'm sure I could change some things, tweak some things to make sitting down and reading a more like thing that I do. But it's not like what I plan to do. I like audiobooks. It's what works best for me. I'm okay with missing details in an audiobook if it still means I get to do the story most of the way, right? And I'm even when I physically read a book, because I do still physically read books, I still miss plenty of stuff. It's not like I go from audio and get 50, like half of what I'm listening to, because that's just not true. I get plenty. I have audio enough books and enough things at this point where I'm good at it. It's a skill that I have developed and am at a point where I can do audiobooks. Uh, but it's not like I would go all of a sudden to reading something physically and feel like it's a transformative experience. It's just not something that I think is going to happen for me. So I don't know. This is a weird way to say like, hey, I still think this book is pretty good, but there are giant chunks of it that I just don't care about. And what I'm really curious on is this like a typical Malazan experience? Are you guys just loving everything that happens in all of these massive 1,000-page books, or are there these big ups and downs where people are like, yeah, I really identify more with these storylines and these ones are there? Because that's how Wheel of Time was for me too. Like there were definitely storylines in the Wheel of Time, my favorite fantasy series, that like I didn't care about all of them to the same level as other ones of them. And I've talked about that same thing with like any big fantasy story. There are going to be storyline plot lines that you care way more about than not. So to me, on one hand, it feels like that's normal, but in the case of Malazan, it feels like it's a more extreme example where there are ones where I just don't care. And I've never really had that experience where there are ones where I'm very invested in, I really like, I think it's brilliant writing. And then we get to other sections where I just like I get why people would like it, but for me, it's just not hitting the same way. And it's not like, I've said it so many times, but it's not like it's bad. I just don't like, it's just not connecting with me the way I would like to. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I said this last week, but hopefully I can finish one or both of these in this upcoming week. The reason that didn't happen this past week is work has just been super busy, and I really just have not wanted to read. I've wanted to, honestly, we'll get to it here in a minute when I talk about what I've watched and stuff, but I really just kind of wanted to turn my brain off and watch stuff where I didn't have to think, and it could just kind of be a passive activity. When I read, it's a much more active activity. I'm really paying attention. I'm trying to get everything that's going on and everything. And with how busy I've been at work, it's just not something I have wanted to do. So I would love some feedback on the Malazan stuff. If you're just going to tell me I should stop listening to it on audiobook, I mean, you can tell me that, but it's not going to, it's not going to happen. I will appreciate it, but I'm going to continue on audio. But with that being said, we can actually go ahead and skip over manga because, like I said, I burnt from work a little bit, did not read any manga this past week, which is a little sad because I want to, but it's one of those things when I sit down and get to it, I was turning on Netflix. So let's go ahead and talk about what I watched. With what I watched was mostly Reba. I finished Reba, like 2 seasons of it this week because I just wanted to not have to focus. I just wanted basically popcorn candies for my brain after work. And so Reba was kind of where I went to. So I watched, I think, half of season 5, and season 6 is only a half of a season. So like I watched like 20 something episodes of Reba this week, which is crazy when I say it out loud. But it's just what I was doing to replace any reading that I was doing. And overall, I enjoyed the show. It is funny how the show has like 2 endings because the ending of season 5, if you don't know, the show was going to get canceled. And then ended up getting picked up by another studio. So you have season 5 ending and then you have season 6 ending. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely some cracks. Season 6 is a fever dream of a show. And like I think I said this last week, like you see the cracks starting in season 5 where like the show just is at a different pace and I don't know, it doesn't really know where to go with certain things and everything. But overall, I'm glad I watched it. It's one of those shows where like I could remember even late seasons, bits and pieces of stuff where I would get to an episode and be like, oh yeah, I do kind of remember this. I was from just catching random episodes on TV. But now I need to pick a new show. I'm going to watch Invincible. I didn't realize that show had, season 3 of that show had come out. So I am going to watch Invincible. I'm going to finish watching Shogun, hopefully this week. We have 2 episodes left. It has been amazing. I've really enjoyed it and looking forward to seeing what happens. I think there was some like upheaval, like people don't really like the ending of the book. And I don't know if people feel the same way or not. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends. And Wheel of Time season 3 is coming, or has come out, the first 3 episodes. So I will watch that. I've heard it is a roller coaster of a ride. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I'm curious. At this point, I have given up hopes of it being like a faithful adaptation in any way, shape, or form. But that doesn't mean it still can't at least be an okay TV show inspired by the source material I really like. I always say season 1 was just kind of bad TV. Some of that had to do with things going on in the world at the time. I think season 2 is like an okay like TV show, and so maybe season 3 can be like a good TV show, right? Like I said, I've given up on the hopes that it's going to be anything like the books that I love so much, and that can be an okay thing if it gets people to read the books and it can get more things happening for the books, like maybe we can get reprints or new special edition, like all those kinds of things that can come along with a popular TV show. I'm here for it. So hopefully, I think right now it's not even greenlit for season 4. So I think it will kind of depend on how season 3 goes. And so we'll see what ends up happening there. But that is kind of all I watched. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Oh, just Jeopardy. Jeopardy is the only other thing that I watched. Celebrity Jeopardy. Always a good time. And that's not really turn your brain off because I like to try to get the answers, but it's just like a different kind of thing. And I do hate that I barely read this week. But it is what it is. But quickly, let's talk about what happened on the channel because I did have some fun things come out in the past week. So I had my 2-year BookTube live stream. So that was my first live stream that I have done myself. I've been on a number of live streams, really do enjoy being on those. But doing it myself was definitely a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience. I really appreciate everybody who came out, best wishes and everything. It was all over the place. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. I know some people like kind of like a structured live stream, but I really had no idea what I was doing. I was actually just using like YouTube's built-in live stream tool, which is very bare bones. So it was like basically it showed me the chat and you could see me, and that's about all I could do with it. But I think it was a good first experience. I'm not going to overcommit to doing live streams. It was fun, but I don't think it's something I would do super regularly. Maybe once or twice a year is kind of the limit of it, unless I really get into it and maybe do stuff with other people, but that's not really something I'm planning on doing right now. But I did want to say thank you to everybody who came out to that. It was a lot of fun and I did enjoy it. And I think it was overall a pretty good time. And then I also had the fourth wing discussion with my girlfriend come out on the channel. It's like 40 minutes long or something. I think it is the longest video on my channel outside of the live stream. And so, you know, a lot of stuff you could watch from the past week. But you know, it was fun. I definitely like getting to people's reactions from both of our takes on Fourth Wing and everything. But yeah, it was a good time, and we are definitely going to be doing some more stuff together in the future. So that was my week. Unfortunately, like I said, not nearly as much reading as I would like. Just reading has not been the thing for me this past week with being busy at work, but that's okay because sometimes you just need to let life happen. I would like to hear what you read down below in the comments. If you want to chat with me some more, you can check me out on my Discord that I am now a part owner of, the Book Street Boys. There's a bunch of us in there, so you can definitely check that out as well. I'll have links to that all down below in the comments. But that is all for me. And remember, read what you want when you want.